Today we're diving into a topic that might sound like something out of a futuristic sci-fi drama, but trust me, it's as real as your next heartbeat. We're exploring the fascinating world of cognitive switching, the way your brain's tendency to jump from one task to another can disrupt your body's natural rhythm. In other words, scattered attention creates scattered physiology. Or, to put it more poetically, your heart reflects your focus. Imagine your heart is like a skilled drummer in a band. Every beat is timed perfectly to maintain a steady rhythm, allowing you to groove through life smoothly. But what happens if that drummer suddenly starts switching instruments mid-song, trying to play the trumpet, then the guitar, then the drums, all at once? The melody might become disjointed, missed beats here, off-timed notes there. That's exactly what cognitive switching does to your body's internal orchestra. It disrupts the harmony between the brain and your heart. Let's break it down from the very beginning. At its core, our brain is a remarkable master of focus. It's designed to concentrate deeply on a single pursuit, filtering out the noise of distractions to lock onto one thought at a time. But here's the challenge. In our modern world, distractions are always knocking at our door, from buzzing smartphones to the endless flow of notifications. And when you let them in, your cognitive switching gears into overdrive. Think of cognitive switching like a juggling act, but with mental balls. Every time you switch your attention, you're essentially tossing a ball in the air, only to catch it later. Over time, constant juggling leads to a sort of fragmentation of your mental processes, much like the shattered pieces of a very delicate vase. And while the vase might seem unrepairable, its fragments still tell a story of a striving but scattered effort to keep up with the demands of modern life. Now, you might be wondering, how does this mental fragmentation affect my heart? Well, here's where things get interesting. The heart is not just a pump, it's deeply connected to our emotional and physiological state. When your brain is toggling between tasks, it inadvertently sends mixed signals to the heart. This isn't about heartbreak or romance. It's all about autonomic stability and emotional regulation. Our autonomic nervous system, the part of the nervous system that regulates bodily functions like heart rate, digestion, and breathing, relies on clear, consistent instructions from the brain. When you allow your focus to be scattered by constant task switching, these messages become jumbled. Imagine trying to follow a recipe where the ingredients keep changing mid-cooking. It quickly turns into a recipe for chaos in your kitchen. With mixed signals, your heart's rhythm can become irregular, and over time, that can impact everything from your stress levels to your emotional equilibrium. It's almost like your brain and heart are performing a duet. If one musician loses the beat, the entire performance can go off-key. And let's face it, no one enjoys an off-key duet, especially not the conductor of your own well-being. So what does all this mean for you? Well, if you're new to this topic, consider it a gentle invitation to re-examine your daily habits. You see, in our fast-paced digital age, cognitive switching isn't just an abstract concept from a neuroscience textbook. It's a daily reality. Every time you move from one social media feed to a work email, or from a thought about dinner to a lingering worry about tomorrow's tasks, your brain is engaging in a rapid-fire task-switching marathon. And while that might help you feel like a multitasking superhero, it might also be subtly shaking the very foundations of your physiological stability. Let's explore some foundational concepts to understand how cognitive switching can disrupt autonomic stability and emotional regulation. First, consider that your attention is like a spotlight. When you focus on one specific thing, that spotlight intensifies, and every detail becomes clearer. This intense focus is beneficial. It helps you solve complex problems, design creative solutions, and fully immerse yourself in a hobby or conversation. But every time your attention is pulled away and you have to shift the spotlight elsewhere, you're forcing your brain to reorient itself. That constant reorientation can result in what we call attention fragmentation. Attention fragmentation isn't just a fancy term, it's a tangible phenomenon with measurable consequences. When you're frequently switching focus, your brain isn't given the time to deep dive into any single task. Instead, it flits from one to the next, like a butterfly that never really lands on a flower long enough to savor the nectar. And this isn't just an issue of inefficiency, it can lead to a state where your body's natural rhythms, including your heart rate, become less stable. Now let's talk about autonomic stability. In simple terms, this is the steady regulation of bodily functions without you having to consciously control them. Your heart rate, for example, is orchestrated by the autonomic nervous system, ensuring a smooth, rhythmic beat without any effort on your part. But when you're constantly bombarded by multiple stimuli and forced into endless task switching, those signals get muddled. Imagine trying to conduct an orchestra where half the musicians are following one score and the other half are reading another. resulting in a cacophony rather than a symphony. Now, let's inject a little humor into this serious topic. Picture this. You're at a busy restaurant, trying to enjoy a meal. The ambiance is perfect. A gentle hum of conversation, soft clinks of silverware, and then suddenly the waiter drops off a barrage of orders from different tables at once. Your mind leaps from one order to another, juggling between alerting the chef, no doubt, and trying to remember who ordered what. In that moment, not only is your brain in chaos, but your heart is racing faster than the kitchen's fastest chef during a dinner rush. This is a playful reminder that even the mundane act of attention shifting has real physiological implications. Each time your mind darts from one thought to the next, it's like sending your body into a mini sprint, activating stress responses that over time may contribute to irregular heart rhythms and an overall sense of unease. The humor here isn't to trivialize the problem, but rather to make it relatable. We've all been that jittery waiter in our own minds at some point. Let's break this down further, with a step-by-step look at how cognitive switching disrupts our internal balance. First, consider the initial event. Your brain, attempting to concentrate deeply on a task, gets interrupted. That interruption triggers a cascade of electrical signals, causing a slight but notable spike in arousal. This is your body's natural alert mode, designed to help you quickly address new information. But here's the catch. If you're in this state too often, your body starts to adapt to a perpetual high alert mode, similar to a hamster on a wheel who never quite takes a break. Imagine if every time you switch tasks, your heart had to sprint a few extra laps. Sure, one sprint might be fine, but a constant marathon without rest? That's a recipe for exhaustion, both mentally and physically. Over time, this relentless pace of switching tasks may lead to what we call autonomic imbalance, where the natural rhythms governing your bodily functions, like digestion and sleep, get thrown off kilter. Emotional regulation enters the picture as well. Our emotions, joy, sadness, anxiety, excitement, are closely intertwined with our physiological state. When your cognitive focus is pulled in a dozen different directions, you're more likely to experience emotional volatility. Have you ever noticed that when you're constantly switching from one task to another, your mood might swing unpredictably, making you feel like you're on an emotional roller coaster with no brakes? That unpredictability is your brain's way of reacting to the scattered signals it's sending out, leading to what we can describe as a fragmented rhythm between your mind and body. So, how can we tame this unruly duet between our brain and our heart? The answer lies in practicing mindfulness and fostering habits that nurture sustained attention. Rather than allowing constant interruptions to dictate your day, create pockets of time dedicated solely to focused, uninterrupted activities. Whether it's reading, painting, or simply sitting quietly with your thoughts, these moments of deliberate calm can help your brain recalibrate its attention. Think of it like giving your internal drummer a well-deserved coffee break, allowing it to get back in sync with the rest of the band. And let's not forget the humor in our shared human experience. In today's hyper-connected world, being pulled in every direction is almost inevitable. It's like standing in the middle of a busy intersection with every direction screaming at you simultaneously. But here's the silver lining. By becoming aware of how fragmented attention disrupts our internal workings, we set the stage for meaningful change. We realize that sometimes slowing down isn't a sign of weakness. It's the key to harmony in our mind-body duet. In our journey toward better emotional regulation and improved autonomic stability, acknowledging the role of cognitive switching is a powerful first step. The next time you feel that familiar tug of distraction, pause and consider, am I being the overzealous juggler, or can I be the mindful conductor of my own symphony? It might sound a bit dramatic, but when your heart and mind are in sync, every beat resonates with clarity, purpose, and even a dash of humor. Today's insights remind us that our focus is not just a mental asset, but a tangible part of our physiological well-being. When you see that cracked glass heart image, or read the phrase fragmented rhythm, remember, it's a call to reflect on how scattering your attention might be scattering the steady beat of your heart. Each shift of focus isn't just a mental glitch, it's a ripple that can influence your overall harmony. Let's embrace a little truth here. While our modern lifestyles demand rapid-fire attention, there is profound wisdom in pausing, in finding moments of stillness. It's like giving your brain a spa day without having to book an expensive massage. After all, wouldn't you rather enjoy a smooth, rhythmic beat rather than a jittery, off-tempo thump? Think of it as upgrading your mental operating system, enhancing both clarity and emotional balance. In closing, let's revisit that catchy yet profoundly accurate line, "Your heart reflects your focus." It's more than just a snappy phrase. It's a reminder that the way we attend to the world around us leaves an imprint on our physical being. Every time we allow distractions to pull our attention apart, our internal rhythms feel the shock. And while life's demands will always be present, there's incredible power in reclaiming our focus. So if you find yourself perpetually caught up in the whirlwind of modern life, know that you have the agency to steer your internal symphony toward harmony. It starts with awareness, recognizing the subtle shifts in your rhythm each time you switch your focus, and ends with conscious choices that help your heart and mind beat as one cohesive unit. Let that be your guide, a steady rhythm and a mindful approach, even with the chaos of modern distractions swirling around you. Remember, life doesn't always require a rapid sprint. Sometimes it's perfectly fine to take a pause, to let your internal drummer find its groove again. Every beat has its place in the grand composition of your life. And as you adopt these mindful habits, you might just find that your heart's melody becomes richer, steadier, and a little bit more in tune with the beauty of simply being present. Thank you for joining this exploration into the dance between mind and body, between scattered attention and the steady pulse of life. Embrace the idea that in every moment of focus regained, your heart finds its tempo, and every note of your emotional spectrum strikes true. After all, isn't it time we all tuned in a bit deeper to the music of our lives?